Hey, welcome to the Conscious B podcast. I'm one part of your host and crew, Knowledge, and to my right, who do I have?
Man, you already know who it is. It's your boy Tenaro Reed, a.k.a. Natty Bad Tattoo, Dreadlock Owner Operator, Slaughterhouse Tattoos, Mr. a.k.a. helping you look better naked. And for the summer, it's your boy Curve Gotti. We curving all summer 18.
You got any curve stories for this week?
Man, I do, but
let's introduce the guests first. We have two lovely young ladies that you guys are going to be hearing a lot more from in the future, but we're going to hold off on that announcement right now. But who do I got to my left?
To your left, doll, you have Dion. She back in effect.
And
ready.
Who do I have sitting across from me?
Nola B, the N, the O, the L, the A.
Okay, we're not doing that right now.
No, I am on.
The B,
no, we're not going to do that right now.
That is Nola
B.
Did y'all just do like a whole remix sitting right here?
You want to rumble with the B, huh?
Okay, what we're not going to do is have a 90s jam in here.
I'm trying to tell you,
We're not about to have a bad boy reunion in this thing, okay?
Right, you know, I already
Wait,
got
so if
LL.
you Lil Kim, who you supposed to be, Faith?
Ooh, go ahead and be Faith.
Well, wait a minute. I thought I was Lil Kim before this.
I thought I was Lil Kim. I embody.
So who's
Kim.
Biggie?
Who want to be Biggie?
I'm not fat.
Natty.
Nah.
Natty not big, but he can be Biggie.
Natty like Mace.
Ooh, yes, be Mace.
Did y'all hear that
Like
drip
Mace.
just now? That was a little drip. I got some sauce. Sauce.
Natty like, yo, Mace was like the flyest ugly dude ever in life, man. Like Mace had all the gals, didn't he?
I'm just saying, man. It was the dimples and the waves, man.
Sure, that Harlem, but that Harlem album is a
swag.
classic though. That's a classic album. That first album was classic. Let's go and jump into the topics. We're gonna start off with niggas we wish we could vote off the island. So first off, man, we had this video. You can check it out on the Facebook page. There's a news story about these black women fighting in the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A is officially the most polite place on earth. How the hell? Like, think about it. You got to have some real animosity towards somebody to get to fighting at Chick-fil-A.
Exactly. It's my pleasure. That's what they're known for.
Right. You know what I mean? That's like getting into a fight at at church. Well,
No, it is.
At church,
it is, because think about it. Chick-fil-A is the only place you can get a chicken sandwich and salvation at the same time. That's like the number 7 combo. Like, I'm convinced.
The number 777 combo.
That's the number
please.
777 combo.
Can y'all sprinkle that a little bit of Jesus on the top?
Can I get some holy water on them fries?
My pleasure.
Yeah, I never seen bad service at Chick-fil-A.
Let me get some of that dead sea salt. I'm just saying. Let me get some prayers.
Let me get that Jerusalem special.
Let me get some prayers with that Polynesian sauce right there, please. Can we get some prayers in Polynesian?
Let me get a crucifixion kids meal, please. I'm not going to do this. I'm
With
not
the
going to do
Jesus
this.
figurine and book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
come in the bag. Get the 10
I'm trying to
commandments.
tell you, that lemonade is made from the hem of his garment. I am so
tell you.
convinced. Like, that's just, no. Mm-mm. You got to be a real Philistine to get to fighting. But let me tell you what made it even worse, though. The worst part of the whole thing was that one of the girls pulled the strap out. Like, she pulled out the tool. She upped the tone on the old girl. Like, it was crazy.
So they was fighting with
In the drive-thru. No, it was two groups of people.
Okay.
It was and of course you know what has happened at, right? Wakanda, Atlanta. Happened in
ATL,
Wakanda.
shawty.
Okay, Howard University is officially Wakanda, but Atlanta's like
like satellite
I don't even know how to
Wakanda.
put it. It's like Wakanda light, I guess. You know, because you got Buckhead now going white again, so you know you got to figure out what's going on, right?
I'm convinced that they knew each other. They had to have known each other. Oh, I'm convinced they known each other.
Yeah, like she saw her and she wanted all the smoke.
It was on site.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they thought they was at Popeyes.
Nah, you ain't gonna confuse. Now if it had been Bojangles,
Okay.
I'd have said that, because you can confuse a Bojangles chicken biscuit.
Maybe churches.
No, you can confuse a Bojangles chicken biscuit with Popeye's legs.
Yeah.
No.
They both got that spicy chicken. Look, I got acid
they
reflux.
do. They
I got
do.
acid reflux. I know
They
spicy
do.
chicken.
I like spicy.
You say you be the judge.
Yes, they
Gotcha.
do. I will always get spicy at Bojangles and Popeyes.
So who got locked up? Everybody.
I don't know. It didn't say. It said they left without getting breakfast, though.
Right.
That was the most important part
You have to
of the whole news story. You got to see the news
Make sure
video.
you watch that.
Yeah, because it said that they left without getting breakfast.
Bob, Bob said.
Back to you, Bob.
And he said it with a straight face.
Right. I mean, because that's important as shit, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important meal of the day, man.
I,
So it's some angry motherfuckers all
you got to
day
be
long.
mad. Who was that? Kevin Hart said, "Why you always no?" Cat Williams like, "You always how you banging on breakfast?
Yeah, how you banging on breakfast, man?
Like, come on, man. That's crazy." Next up, going back to a story that we talked about last week, was people that we already voted off the album. We want to get them the hell off again. Diamond and Silk, turns out were not banned, blocked, or censored on Facebook. However, they were effectively told that they were harmful to the community, number one. And number two, like, that's when Facebook's algorithms or whatever changed. And a lot of people lost friends, followers, and their respective reaches for their business and global pages. And so they tried to say that Facebook banned them or censored them. But if you can still access your page and put out content,
Right.
nah, bro, you're not banned, blocked.
They weren't in Facebook jail.
Raise your hand if you've been in Facebook jail.
Oh shit, I stay in there, homie.
Guilty.
What?
Not me.
I done put more money on your Facebook book.
Well, I'm telling you, but my Facebook commissary will be stacked.
I'm trying to tell you. For real, for real.
Yeah.
So what'd you get? Wait. I cannot imagine you, Nola B, getting put in Facebook jail.
I can't.
What'd you get put in
Well,
Facebook?
thank God we don't look like what we've been through.
Hey.
Blessings.
You know.
Blessings.
Let's just say I've changed. I'm still a work in progress.
I know that's right.
Well,
Hi.
To be continued.
Anybody order pizza? I know what that means.
I'm gonna keep on moving. So let's move on to somebody who I have consistently advocated for getting the entire hell out of here, and will advocate for him getting the entire hell out of here until the day I die. Bill Cosby. Now, had a recent development at Bill Cosby's trial. Janice Dickinson, former model, she was on Top Model, wasn't she?
She was on Top Model as
a
a
judge,
judge,
right?
yes. But she claims to be the first ever supermodel
Right.
there is.
Look, I don't know enough about modeling to know whether she's telling the truth or not. So I'm not gonna lie to
She
you.
claims to be the
face.
She
first
does. She claims
So-
to be the
Yeah,
first.
she.
to pioneer
Yeah.
supermodels.
So
Well, I
check
can
this
see that.
out.
She looks old enough.
So she's released a memoir. She released a memoir a while back, and it says that in her memoir, on the witness stand Thursday, it says that she fabricated passages in her memoir, including a story of rebuffing the comedian's advances. Basically, she told Bill Cosby he couldn't have no cootie. Now, when she was essentially, challenged on this, she says, "Here was America's dad on top of me, a happily married man with 5 children." This was her testimony. "And I remember thinking how wrong it was, how very, very wrong." She told the jury she passed out during the time that Cosby sexually assaulted her and said it was gross. She said she confronted him the day after it happened, but he didn't acknowledge it. And she wanted to punch him in the face. Now, so when Bill Cosby's attorneys challenged her, she said in the book, he cited the book where it says that she told him no, they wasn't going to have sex. And then she popped 2 Quaaludes and went to sleep alone in her own hotel room. Now, for those of you who don't know, Quaaludes was, that's a sedative. If you ever seen Wolf of Wall Street, you see what Quaaludes could do to you. That's a funny movie.
It is. It's a very good one.
Now, you know what? I'm not big on drugs, but I think I would try that. I really
Why would
think I
you
would
try that?
It
What you
just-
think it's going to do to you?
It just looked interesting. That's one of them unseasoned drugs. Like, black folk don't do them drugs. Like
Right.
that's
No.
that's one of them male drugs. You got to have a mayonnaise sandwich when you take them drugs like that. So Bill Cosby's lawyer said, challenged her on it. She said, now this is what she said: "It's all a fabrication there because I wanted the paycheck for my kids." She also said that her ghostwriter took poetic license with her life story. So Bill Cosby's lawyer said, "So you made things up to get a paycheck." She got mad and said, "They weren't there, you weren't there, and I'm telling the real story. I put my hand on the Bible and I swore I wasn't under oath when I wrote the book." Now, she also testified that she decided to cut that from her book because the publisher warned her it could ruin her career.
But she still came out with it, though. I mean, like, even before the book came out, she was on the bandwagon about...
So the book came out in 2000, it came out well before 2000. I think it came out in the 90s, didn't it?
Oh, okay.
Right.
I think the book came out in the 90s. No, it was 2002. It came out in 2002.
Okay.
I just verified that.
Okay.
2002. So the book came out in 2002. And the young lady who Bill Cosby was on trial for sexually assaulting, the incident happened in 2004. It wasn't until 2000, I want to say like 11 maybe, that Janice Dixon mentioned it. So she, in the book, she says, hey, I told him nah, and then, I popped a Quaalude and went to sleep.
She been popping pills.
Right. I was gonna say.
I'm not surprised.
hard face.
Which drug
Yeah,
was
she
the
is
one he gave
hard
her, what
face.
she already took. Like,
Strong.
I mean, really.
You ain't lying.
Well, Bill Cosby has admitted that he gave women Quaaludes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he did drug
And
them.
she was his pusher man.
Right. But she was already drugged when she went over there.
Right.
Here's my biggest thing, though, because one thing about it is that I don't like to automatically assume that women are lying,
Oh, no.
and especially in a situation like this when you got a man with power.
Right.
Because it really could have ruined her career,
Yeah,
or
I
what
agree.
semblance of a career she had she said that about Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
At that time.
Absolutely.
At that time.
I don't
dig
think
it.
she was lying about that. I don't.
But to write a book, though, and then why are we
It's stories
now
in
all of
books
a
that we'll
sudden-
never. Well, the reason we're hearing it now is because it only takes one person to come out and say that it happened.
But she wrote a whole book, though. That's for everyone.
Well, she wrote a book about a lot more than just that.
Right.
Well,
I'm sure
yes,
Superhead
but-
got some stories that she didn't put in her book. I'm sure Nas's first
That
baby
was a
mama
good-
got some
that was a
movies.
good book.
It was.
I didn't read it.
I
I didn't read it.
I read it.
Guilty.
I've seen the video.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well, I'm guilty of that, too.
Yeah.
I did it, too.
I am
I
innocent.
saw R. Kelly's video as well.
Okay,
I
what
did.
we're not going to do is admit to watching child porn on the show.
Oh.
I want to.
We're not going to admit to watching child porn on the show, but we'll talk about R. Kelly later.
I want to piss on you.
Drip, 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 ski, 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 piss on you.
Yeah. I'm not no parts of this shit.
You're on it.
So I just wanted to get that story out there. It's not up to me to determine whether or not, the story is 100% true, 100% false. But my thing is, this is my logic. This is always my logic. Like your grandmama told you, everybody ain't gonna tell the same lie on you.
Right.
Right.
So it's enough people out there saying the same story about good old Bill Cosby for me to get him the fuck out of here.
Right. Then, I was talking to a friend last week, man. She made a relevant point. She was like, a lot of times, I mean, she's a dancer, and she works in the at a local.
Get it out, baby.
Exactly.
I don't like to say strip club.
She works at a
You know what I
dancery.
mean? Yeah.
Dancery. That's, you know what? That's a
Because ain't no hateration or
studio.
holleration.
at the dancery.
It's a studio. There's production that goes
That's
on.
right.
So she works at your
Yes.
local studio.
So, and
Sound.
she made a valid point during the conversation. She was like, because a lot of times with patrons that come into where she works, because they are financially affluential, they have a tendency to think that they can go above and beyond what everybody else can do.
Invincible.
Oh, yeah.
And and it made a lot of sense because I hear the stories what she say. Some people come in yada yada because they think they spending this much money. They can touch here, touch there, put fingers here, put fingers there. But when security come and they ass get choked out, they looking like what I do. When they know exactly what they did, but whenever they come under prosecution, it's not, oh shit, I just put So I can feel where she's coming from, and I probably think that's where Bill's whole situation stem from. You got a young man, you got a man with power, you got a man with money, you got a man that's affluential all across America, hell damn shit across the nation.
He was America's dad.
Right, so he begins to think that okay, everything is at his beck and call. Yeah, whatever, no matter what I do, it's not wrong.
So you feel like she was obligated?
No, I'm saying that's what Bill might have been thinking in his mind, not even knowing that his actions were
think about-
overstepping
untouchable.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Like the rest of these
But I'm
guys
saying,
Right.
that
did
have been
she
called-
feel obligated that she had to perform these acts
I mean, but
in
think about
order
it.
to
Yeah.
steal?
Well, it's not that. It's not that. Here's what it is. When you
Okay.
and this goes back to Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein had a lot of power in Hollywood.
Shout out to Dame Dash for smacking him.
Smacking the shit out of him. I was so proud of Dame for that. But my thing is about it is like when you have your dream, you have your career, and then you have somebody trying to take advantage of you, and it's like you can either soldier forward, tough it out, and continue to try to reach your dream, or you can you can ring the alarm and ring this bell and lose everything.
That's true.
Like literally everything.
You've experienced that, but maybe not on that, the sexual harassment level. But we experience that every day.
Exactly.
You got to bite your tongue when you want to fight for something, but you just can't. So
I mean, think about it. As black people, sometimes at work, we have to compromise ourselves from time to time. Dealing with certain discrimination in the workplace.
I don't know shit about that.
Dealing with it right now.
You a business owner.
I don't know shit about that.
But you have to bite your tongue sometimes.
That's true.
I mean, even with
sometimes in police situations.
Shit.
You got to bite your tongue.
No hablo inglés. Shit.
So that sometimes you don't, go to jail or get your ass whooped or something like that. So I mean, it's a matter of a life versus a livelihood.
Got it.
And can you live with it? Possibly. Can you make a living with it? Possibly not.
Right.
And so that's what you're putting in between. It's a rock and a hard place, literally.
True.
So let's jump on to the next one. This nigga. I really wish somebody would really just I often ask this question, and I hope this does not come out wrong. Actually, no, I want it to come out exactly how the fuck I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Why Biggie and Pac and not R. Kelly?
You know what? Say it with your chest.
I'm serious because I'm so sick of reading about R. Kelly and his predatory ways. Okay, so here's my thing. There are mountains and mountains of legal paperwork where R. Kelly was accused of sex and sexual assault and sexual predatory activities on underage girls. There's a whole Village Voice article that outlines it.
Aaliyah.
He married a whole 15-year-old and wrote her album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
Yeah.
And so it came out, last year, that he had a harem of women who were his sex slaves, whatever, but they were all, quote unquote, of age. But then one of the people that, quote unquote, escaped said that, he would meet these girls at 15, 16 and groom them and train them. What we're seeing, quite literally, is the evolution of a predator, and ain't nobody smacked fire from this dude yet. I don't get it. All these gangsters out here, all these quote-unquote thugs and goons in the music industry, and ain't nobody put hands on R. Kelly? Ain't nobody touched R. Kelly yet? Come on, dog. I got a daughter. Somebody got to put hands to this dude. All them cats in Chicago, and all the gangster stuff going on in Chicago, you mean tell me ain't nobody put them hands and feet to R. Kelly? He has not been invited to a boot party yet.
But you already know, man, those quote-unquote gangsters, they don't show up when situations are at need. You feel what I'm saying? It's and it's easy for quote-unquote gangsters to play gangster with somebody that look like them, that live right next door to them, that they see every day, but somebody they hold at higher esteem or bigger than them, such as rappers, R&B singers, you know what I mean, things like that. They tend to take a step back. And me personally, I've been telling y'all R. Kelly was a pedophile.
Right. Yeah.
Who calls themselves the Pied Piper?
You know what the Pied Piper did? Pied Piper led all the kids
away. He led all the kids away from the village.
Yeah.
With his music.
Yeah. So check this out. So a 19-year-old girl came out and said that R. Kelly held her against her will, gave her drugs and alcohol, and an STD.
God damn, that's a combo for your ass.
What?
Literally.
I mean, you get Ciroc, you get some Kush, and the clap.
And the clap. I mean,
that's
the 3 C's.
It's
a package.
Oh, it's a package, all right. Oh, you got a package. I'm just saying.
And and it's gonna continue. It's gonna continue because everybody, like you say, everybody's gonna sweep it under the rug. Right. It's gonna be, R. Kelly's at it again. I mean, no prosecution. No. You know what I mean? Nothing. I mean, what can we do?
Why is he untouchable though? I to your point, Knowledge, I don't understand why we have not touched R. Kelly yet.
So
how can we let him get away?
Okay, so the thing is first is that when you file, I've never heard of a non-disclosure agreement covering illegal activities. But I think that there's some kind of way that if you take a settlement to not go to trial, you can kind of get those things sealed or have have it as a condition of the settlement. Now here's the thing: so people are like, well, why they take the money? well, do you really want to put your 13, 14-year-old girl out there in front of all those people? She's already embarrassed about what happened. Now she's got to sit there in front of 12 people, a judge, the dude that victimized her, all these lawyers that he got, the lawyers for the state, and, of course, all the media that's going to be out there in the audience. You want to put her through that again?
And I'm pretty sure these girls came from, backgrounds where they might have needed the money.
Right. And I can understand that.
Yeah, so, and I think that's why he preys on those types, too.
And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They said he would go to, the Rock and Roll McDonald's?
Huh?
That's what it was called, the Rock and Roll McDonald's in Chicago.
God damn it, Robert.
And he would pick up girls from there.
Not at Ronald McDonald.
And you know what I'm saying?
Well, I
At
mean,
McDonald's, though?
That's where he got that little mash from, being the Pied Piper. He stole it from Hamburglar.
Sure did.
That's exactly what happened.
They ain't gonna have R. Kelly's head, man, until it's a white girl that screams.
Right.
I can agree with that because black people, like this, let's be perfectly honest. I'm going to say our community, the entire nation, does not care about black women.
No, not
Do
at all.
not care about
I
black
agree.
girls.
Collectively.
I mean, think about I'm willing to bet that, we talk about these black girls that go missing every single day, every single week, every single month, that some of them are never found. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares.
I mean, never even televised. You know what I mean?
Nobody
never even
cares.
brought to the media, anything like that, man.
Nobody cares. Amber Alerts. We had a real situation with Amber Alerts. A black child goes missing. Sometimes we can't get the Amber Alert. Well, it doesn't meet the requirements. And then, little Susie Mae goes missing, and you got the highway signs showing the description and what she looked like and the vehicle she's taking in. We don't care about black women, and that's sad. I hope something changes, but considering that R. Kelly's still out here operating like the weirdo he is, I don't see that happening. So,
But, I think, too, black women, we need to care about ourselves a little bit
I can
more.
agree with that.
I
can agree with that.
We're still buying his tickets. We're still listening to his music. So
I already told everybody. I already said on my friends list. If you are a R. Kelly fan, if you are R. Kelly supporter, if you have bought any R. Kelly music, if you listen to R. Kelly music around me, please block me. Please delete me. I will report you as spam if you post a link to R. Kelly anything. If I'm at a family reunion and they play "Step in the Name of Love," I'm changing the damn song. I don't care who get mad at me.
that's just
I do
the
not
theater, right?
care.
You want that spirit.
You play "I Believe I Can Fly" if you want to.
You don't fly
Your
up
ass
out of
be
here.
flying. You be flying, all right, flying smooth out the window like Jazz on Fresh Prince. I'm dead serious. I'm not playing that. R. Kelly comes on in my car. I change the radio station. If he comes on an Apple Music playlist, skip. I'm not supporting that bullshit. Speaking of weirdos, I hate to even call her a weirdo. Lauryn Hill has announced.
No, you're not going to start the introduction of Lauryn Hill like that.
Damn.
Pause.
The clip was loaded.
So he's getting ready to talk about Lauryn Hill. Let's give it up for Lauryn. Give it up for Lauryn.
You had to clap it on the obligation.
That was the friendship clap.
Gave me the eye.
That was the
Like
you are,
KDN, you better clap.
that was the you are not on
I
this
love you,
island.
Lauryn. You're going to prove him wrong.
Okay, so Lauryn Hill has announced a tour for her 20th anniversary of the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Wonderful album, by the way.
One of my favorite,
Yes.
one of the greatest
Absolutely.
black music albums of all time. Point blank, period. I will never deny that. But I'm taking bets that the tour won't get through half of its dates. Number one,
Without a meltdown.
she's not gonna
rebuke
make it.
you.
She's not gonna make it through half the tour.
I rebuke you.
Okay, you can rebuke it. How about you rebuke her chi, her chakras, and her life force, so all them
All
of them can
seven.
get on the
Lauryn,
same damn
please
page.
do not let me down. Don't let me down. I'm so excited.
Okay,
Come on,
now I
Lauryn.
have another side pool that says that that says how many concerts will start in under 3 hours from when they're supposed to.
I'm going to step out on faith.
You gonna step
Go
up?
ahead.
Okay,
She going to be on time.
you got the faith.
She going to be on time.
You
now,
know what?
Lord.
That is
I got the
more.
faith.
Here's the thing. You have
She gotta
more.
put it to work.
You know what? God gonna bless you because that is more than the faith of
That's more
mustard
than
seed.
faith. I'm
Okay,
trying
you
to
know what I'm
tell you.
saying?
That's the faith of a mountain.
I
You know
love
what I'm saying?
Lauryn,
She
y'all.
gonna move
I
them
love
now.
Lauryn.
Well, she's keeping hope alive.
Yes, I definitely am.
You know,
She believe in things that be not as though they were.
Okay. Better than it should be.
I'm trying to tell you. Shoot, she about to give us all descriptions. Nah, so I think honestly, I feel like if I was a promoter that had a date for Lauryn Hill, I would put in the contract that her chi, her chakras, and her spirit animal need to all be at the venue 2 hours before she do, so they can all be aligned for her to come her ass on stage at a decent time. That's just how I feel. Do you remember when she said that she tried to align her energies to give her fans the show, her energies have to be aligned, and she's not going to come out there without her energies aligned. You know what? I'm gonna tell my boss that my energies ain't aligned tomorrow and coming in at 12:30.
I mean, has Lauryn Hill always been like that? Because I remember, because Lauryn really has not been touring anyways, number one. And the only artist I know that has to get their energy right, the mood right, the Tai Chi, Ho Chi Minh, all of that is Erykah Badu.
But Erykah Badu shows up on time.
Yeah. No, I done been to an Erykah Badu concert, and she's come out late sometimes. Not as late as Lauryn. Nowhere near as late as Lauryn.
2 hours to me, if you have an opening act, 2 hours a lot of times to me is understandable. I've seen that consistently for a lot of acts. 2 hours. If it says the show starts at 7, I expect them to come on by 9.
Well, hopefully they have opening acts,
right?
So they can get their.
But
stuff
usually I expect them to come on by 9,
right?
But when we talking about 10:30, 11,
and your opening act still trying to carry on,
and the DJ over there playing, he done played the same song 37 times. Man,
I don't have anything to say during this segment again. Lauren's gonna be on time. That's it.
You have as much chance of seeing a crack smoking unicorn with boobs as you do of seeing Lauryn Hill be on time for anything.
I hope she is on time.
I'm so serious.
You know what? I hope she proves me wrong.
Because those people pay their hard-earned money to come and really see Lauryn Hill and her greatness.
I want some real music.
I want to see Lauryn Hill come back, but if she don't waddle her bald-headed ass on that stage in less than 3 hours, I'm going to be mad.
Well, you know, she does have several kids, so she got to probably get them together.
She got to get the kids.
She better get them, the baby some fruit snacks and a Capri Sun and tell them shut the hell up and sit in the corner. You better get them little boys a Lunchable.
I remember them in my lunch box.
What about the pizza one? Remember the pizza Lunchable? You was real serious about that.
You know what? I feel like you still get Lunchables sometimes.
You know what? I do.
I knew it. You know I knew it. I feel like you still get Lunchables from time to time.
I still like to take naps.
But in Lauren's defense, man, we would really like to see a wonderful tour.
Absolutely.
I mean, the people really would. I mean, to actually hear, you know what I mean, some melodies from Lauryn. You know, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and jump on the bandwagon with Miss Lola B, and we're going to go ahead and put this in the air. We're going to put it in the air. It might be a fart in the wind, but hey. We're going to put this motherfucker in there.
So, okay, let me ask you a question. So, if I paid my deposit to you.
Right.
And came there, cash in hand, ready to give me a tattoo.
Yeah.
And you started lighting incense and smoking herb and drinking Ciroc and then said, okay, I'm going to take me a nap. I got to get my chi and my chakras and my energy aligned before I can do your tattoo.
I do that shit before you get there. Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
You know what I mean? Well, maybe she on a different page, man. Hopefully Miss Lauryn can get it right.
She like Meek Mill. She on a different type of time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, look.
She on a different type of
time.
Now,
that was a shade.
Oh, no, that was a tree.
Yeah. Not the whole tree.
She on a different type of time. That's what she on. Shoot. Didn't Meek Mill get like a new trial or something?
You know,
he got an appeal.
Isn't he supposed to come out? Yeah.
He got an appeal. He got an appeal.
Good.
He got an appeal date.
Good.
Okay, Meek, free Meek.
I mean, I'm going to just say, man, I'm going to go ahead and put my conspiracy theory out here, man. Okay. I don't think Meek locked up.
Where do you think he's at?
What you think?
I think this is a ploy by the record execs to generate a buzz. It's summertime, second quarter. Now look, this is what I said.
Shock me.
This is what I said. I mean, like, you look at the revenue. You look at the revenue that Meek Mill generates for these quote unquote Jewish record execs. Mm-hmm. As much money as he generates, why would they let an artist of that caliber get locked up from 2 to 4 years, who's not going to generate any income besides a previous album? You're locked up to 2 to 4 years off of basically a traffic violation.
Right.
I don't see it happening.
And then you got the CEO of the Patriots.
Bingo, who went to see him in jail. And my thing is,
weird.
And my thing is this right here. Okay, now album sales dwindling down from the last album. Mm-hmm. Summertime is coming up. What most record labels want to do? Want to have a summertime hit. Now Meek Mill, if you look at each album, he's always had a backstory to each album. There's always been a sense of struggle. There's always been this, and been that. Meek Mill, to the point where he done sold so many albums, he done got so much bread, he don't have no struggle to talk about anymore. So guess what? Meek, you can either go to jail or get shot. Cause that's what sell the most. That's what sell the most albums.
Yeah, Meek gonna go to jail.
No, Meek at home.
Meek at
house arrest.
Meek on house. Yeah, Meek at the crib.
Because if Meek gets shot, his whole chest caving in.
He ain't
And
lying.
then
They take
everybody
pictures, they went
pumping
ahead and dropped a
him.
little backdrop.
And
Got the little prison pose.
I haven't seen any pictures. You seen any
No,
pictures?
Nah.
but everybody's pumping him. No, everybody's saying free Meek in their
Yeah.
songs.
They
Bingo.
are.
I haven't
Everyone.
seen. We only had the owner of the Patriots. They say he
Robert
went.
Kraft.
How is that
He's had a
correlate?
couple of phone interviews here and there, but like it's just
man.
crazy.
You can look. You can call me at the crib. I can put it on speakerphone and go in the bathroom.
I can make it
sound like I'm in jail.
it sound like you in jail right now.
Come on,
actually,
man.
on this mic right
And
now.
that's my thing. I don't. I just think it's a record label media ploy to keep Meek somewhat. I ain't gonna say somewhat to keep Meek in everybody's face.
Keep
you
me
know
relevant.
what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? To
And
keep
keep everybody behind him.
right. You know. Well, and here's the thing, and I hate to say it, when he come out, well, when his album comes out, I should say. Let me ask you a question. You know, Nicki Minaj has new music coming up soon.
Who?
Exactly. Do you think that his album is going to do better or worse than his ex's?
Hey man, you already know Meek. I mean, Meek is gonna do numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've had a whole free Meek campaign
Yeah.
for the past year almost.
Yeah.
You've had a whole free Meek campaign. So now that man come home, everybody's ears are gonna be perked to hear what he got to say. They want to hear about what he got to say about this whole court situation, what he got to say about the jail time, what he got to say about his ex. Everybody want to hear what he got to say.
If Meek come out swole though, I don't know if I can deal with swole Meek.
Now, if Meek come out swole, he probably was locked up.
Right, he gonna come out
Yeah,
looking like a
nigga done
bully.
hit the pull up bars. He done hit
You know
the
what
dip
I'm saying?
bars. Yeah,
But if he cut,
he got a
if
couple. He got a
if he
couple
still-
setups.
If he come out still $1.15, I'm gonna be like, nah, bro.
Nigga,
You was at the house.
you still been on the lean. You still been on the lean and the Percocets.
Exactly.
We not believing it, man.
Exactly.
Now Gucci came home, whole different
Yeah,
individual.
Gucci came home a different man.
Prison will change you. Now if Meek come home the same big head Meek,
Nah.
big head little body.
Yeah, Meek was in Miami.
Right.
That's where he was at.
Right.
Meek was at Turks and Caicos. So speaking of albums coming out, J. Cole got an album dropping on 420. I've seen the artwork for it. Dude, the artwork is sick.
Yeah, the artwork is cold.
The artwork is sick. It's basically Cole as the king, and then under him you got all these, kids. One of them is sipping lean, one of them smoking, one of them popping pills and all that. And so I'm just like, man, I definitely got to see this.
Yeah, Cole
definitely gotta
always.
see this.
Cole always come proper though.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
He got a message for the kids, and that's good.
Yes, and I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
But-
What?
Yeah.
What you thinking? What's on your
What
mind?
message do you think he's trying to send on the album cover?
He says, actually the word, I'm glad you asked that. On the word, it said, this album in no way endorses drug usage. Here's what it is. Think about it. All of the artists that are popular right now are drug addicts.
Right.
Yeah.
You got Lil Xan, literally.
Right.
His name is Lil Xan. Tekashi 6ix9ine talks about, using drugs on.
But are the kids conscious enough to read that message?
To receive it, yeah.
To receive it.
I think
kids
so.
are so.
I think some of them are intuitive enough to get it.
Oh, they are.
From what I'm
Okay.
seeing, I think the kids like J. Cole,
They
and if
do.
he says it, they're gonna listen.
True.
But a lot of these like Trippie Redd and a lot of these young cats, these real young cats, they making drug user music. We grew up on drug dealer music, and so I
Right.
think Cole is that happy medium, and I think this is his way of saying, hey, don't tip don't tip the scale so far to being a drug addict.
Yeah, that you can't.
That you can't come back. I think that's kind of the overarching message behind this.
And I hope the kids are not that impressionable
Shit.
to,
yeah.
because kids are impressionable.
Very.
They are. And
Shit,
to see
adults are
that.
impressionable.
Well,
Absolutely,
yes,
yeah.
of course. But, as a child,
I know some dumbass 30-year-olds.
oh, so, 50, 40, we
That
can
did-
keep going.
That didn't start sipping lean and popping bars until they heard in the song. I'm like, sir, you are 33 years old.
Right.
They want to live. They still stuck in the 90s.
Yeah.
Spell Xanax.
Z,
Yeah.
get your ass out of here.
No, sir.
No, that ain't your
Well, I
prescription.
think it's good that he is gonna, address that.
Yeah, you
That
have
he's
to have
addressing
balance.
So yeah, you definitely got to have the balance as far as that's concerned. You have to completely and totally, Here's the thing, and I've never been the guy to kind of crap on the young kids. I ain't gonna lie, I used to hate on Soulja Boy. I used to hate on a lot of the snap music at first, but then I realized like you can't be if you gonna go to the club, like you don't want to see nobody dancing the most deaf. You don't want nobody dancing to Common and to Live Quality all the time. You need something to have fun with, something to party, something to relax with. You know, so I'm not the guy that's going to trip on the young kids and always be, you know, slandering the new rappers. I think that's stupid.
And dad jeans.
You know.
I just think that
being
that we're older.
More dad jean jokes. Thank you.
You have them on today?
No, I don't have on dad jeans today. Thank you.
Go ahead. Bro, I just had to.
I don't know. Do you have on dad jeans? Stand up for the people. No, they're not dad jeans.
Right.
Okay.
No dad jeans.
All right.
Levi, 501 Blues.
Ooh.
Buddy Lee. Can't bust him. Can't bust him. But, you know, I did have a problem with the skinny jean trend. I did say Wiz Khalifa looked like he was wearing Gwyneth Paltrow's clothes.
But that nigga look like a thug-ass ballerina. Real, bro.
I said Wiz Khalifa was so skinny his nipples touch.
That nigga look like a that nigga like a pack of chopsticks. Nigga. Like you eat hibachi with that nigga. That nigga. All right, I'm through.
Is that what Amber was doing?
You like
Right.
you like a
She was
burnt
bigger
bag
than
of,
him.
you like a
she was
burnt bag of
punking that
uncooked
nigga.
spaghetti.
Yeah. Who was fucking who?
I'm trying to tell you. You got that Wiz. Well, now we ain't gonna jump on Wiz.
You
today.
call
I
Wiz,
like Wiz.
Wiz Khalifa a Nick kebab. Anyway, so let's keep it moving. Kudos and congratulations to Kendrick Lamar, man.
Right on,
for
man.
winning a Pulitzer Prize for Damn.
K.
Yes.
Dot in the building.
Okay.
Man, you know, when I read that, the first thing that came to mind was that song that he had. I forgot which album it was on. I want to say it was on not Good Kid, Mad City. What was the one after that?
No, don't get me.
I
to
forgot.
mine.
I forgot.
Uh,
But it was I can't remember the one after that. But it was Black Boy Fly, where he talked about Aaron Aflalo and talked about the game.
Nah, that was on Good Kid, Bad City.
That was on Good Kid, Mad
But
City?
it was a bonus track.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a bonus track.
I just think about that. You know, he said he was afraid they'd be the last black boy to fly out of Compton, and then look at this little black boy from Compton.
Yeah, Black Boy
flying.
I'm telling you, give him that business,
Oh,
man.
like another thing. I saw somebody else post this on some social media. They said, you know, you got to give props to Big. You know, because he said you never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
That's right.
In the 75-year history of the Pulitzer Prize, they've never given the music award to a hip hop
To a
album.
hip hop artist.
And who do they give it to?
Kendrick
Right on.
Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. That's
That's
What's
true
that?
black
Major.
boy joy.
You know, and
That's
that's,
black magic.
That's
Black
That's big.
excellence.
That's black excellence to the
It's
to
the
the
epitome
top.
of it. I mean,
I
you know,
love
to
it.
receive that noble award.
That's
Kudos.
amazing to me.
And you know, and the thing about it, you know, one thing I did Kendrick about is that he make being smart look cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of kids tend to steer away from, you know, because they think being smart looks a certain way.
Right.
So therefore, they play themselves down dumb, or they put themselves in dumb situations, or you know what I mean, and they play down on their own intellect. But you know, Kendrick actually puts, you know what I mean, he puts forth intellect, and at the same time, he make it look good for the kids, man. You know, I mean, hell, even for the adults.
Yes,
Right.
intelligence is the way. That's the way to go, kids. Being smart, intelligent, knowledgeable. That's what's sexy. That's what's up. That's what girls like.
Longevity.
Exactly.
That's what
Ain't
they
nobody
tell
like my ass when I was a young nerd.
Well, I like nerds, so I love nerds, actually.
Girls don't like nerds until they get their 20s, guys.
But see, you got to be a nerd.
So-
You got to get your face tatted too, though.
But if you know better, you do
Right.
better.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about the nerds.
I wasn't gonna be 14 with a face tattoo and a.
You could have got a licking. You could have got a licking stick.
What?
Oh yeah, a licking stick. Yeah.
Oh.
Or no.
Oh,
Oh,
Okay.
I don't.
No.
No.
I was wrong. That's, I missed
We're
it.
not
It was a
gonna
joke. You got
hashtag
kind of-
that one. Yeah,
You got kind of excited about that. I was,
yeah.
It was a joke.
Say licking stick. Yeah, licking stick. Licking stick.
All right, I walked into that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Natty cutting up over here.
Literally.
So,
Back in my hole.
Okay.
so let's move on.
Don't
to
have
some-
your grandmama come back downstairs
Man,
because she
don't
hasn't
come
come down
downstairs.
today.
Yeah, she on a date.
Oh,
Yeah, she was Mr. Earl.
Mr. Earl. Earl from around the corner or up the street?
No, the deacon.
The Deacon Earl.
Yeah, you know Mr. Earl.
Yeah, I do know Mr.
The one
Earl.
with the deep voice.
the one that helped with the communion and the offering.
Yeah,
Right?
now he have his
He
own
does
special
both?
communion.
Ooh.
I bet he do.
Yeah,
That's
That
the
what
one that when
grandma
the short
said.
sets the church, ain't it?
and
short
look in the
sets?
church socks,
And the church socks. Okay.
You know
And
about
the sandals?
short sets.
the leather ones.
Yeah. Yeah. With the church socks.
With the church socks. The linen suit.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know he had that on Easter Sunday.
Oh.
He had on the linen suit Easter Sunday. I saw Mr. Earl.
The blue one.
See, that's what got grandmama.
Somebody call Mr. Earl.
Hey.
Somebody call Mr. Earl.
Take your ass back up there.
Oh, man. I didn't want to tell Daddy.
Take your ass back upstairs, Mr. Earl.
Boy, I swear that boy disrespectful there.
You disrespecting me right now with that linen ass suit.
I don't know who raised him. Boy, this
Dirty
suit.
ass linen.
I'm trying to tell you, this suit right here, well, this thing softer than cat hair. I put it.
I'm not doing this with you.
Yeah, I put this thing on.
Mr. Earl.
I'm going.
Get your assistant pimp ass back upstairs.
Look, well, Natty grandmama cook. Y'all, when y'all get finished, y'all come here and get y'all a plate.
What you got, neck bones?
And I said, I was going, boy.
Bye, nigga. Anyway.
Bye, Mr. Earl.
Short set.
Bye, sugar.
Anyway, so talk about other people that need to go somewhere. There was this neo-Nazi whose name was Tyrone.
That's
Not Tyrone.
Say
Come
what?
on now. Tyrone.
Let's not say what branch, man. We're not gonna do that to.
A
to all
neo-Nazi?
those. We're not gonna do it to all the service members.
Okay, so a
We're not
neo-Nazi
gonna-
turned out to be a member of the U.S. Armed Services.
Yes, that's better.
He was stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina,
Named Tyrone.
and his online name was Tyrone.
Oh.
His real name is Michael Chesney.
Oh, that's
And he was discharged from his branch of service in early April. Now, I'm going to read one of the posts that he had.
Why Michael got a name except Tyrone?
You better call Tyrone.
He said on July 24th, 2017, on this site called Discord, he said, "Are you trying to impale people? Put a 6 to 8 inch double threaded screw into 2 3-foot axe handles. If shit gets real, unscrew the bottom and go to town."
what?
If shit gets real.
Yeah, if you want to impale people,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
you take 2 axe handles,
Okay.
take a 6 to 8 inch double headed screw.
Mm-hmm.
You screw it in one axe handle, you screw it in the other. If shit gets real, you can twist them off, and you have a long screw with which to impale somebody with, so to speak. So he was telling people how to essentially attack people and be violent with them. He actually was one of the people who suggested the use of vehicles as weapons during the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville. He actually said, "I hope she stands." So they were talking about this one person, Gorchinsky, and she's an activist who actually helped expose him. And he targeted her specifically. He said, "I hope she stands in the street. My ARB bull bar is hungry." And he posted a picture of his truck with this bull bar on the front of it that he talked about hitting her with. She took this picture and clues from this picture and clues from things that he had said on that website and figured out who he was in 45 minutes.
But look here, I'm trying to tell you, women, they private eyes.
Cagney and Lacey.
If you out here, the lesson to me was don't be doing stupid shit and posting pictures of your personal property.
No, because at the end of the day, you know what I mean. It doesn't take much to put 2 and 2 together. If you're paying attention.
Without saying too much, I have tracked down racists and all of their information, and their charges and their parents' information as well as their address.
A few
I've done
times.
it. I'll go on and tell you the story. I'll tell you the whole story. And nothing ever came of it. I didn't do anything to this person or anything like that. But there was a club here in Charlotte, a motorcycle club, that decided they were going to name themselves the Lynch Squad. And they had their colors had a tree on the back with a noose hanging from it.
No.
When confronted about it, they claimed to be such big, bad, tough guys and said, "You weren't going to do anything to me." In about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe, I had his first name, his last name, his age, the high school he went to, his address, his phone number. I had his mother's information, as well as the charge that his mother got for disorderly conduct and assault when she got arrested at Applebee's about 6 months earlier.
Was she at the dollar special? The dollar Long Island?
No, this was like a couple years ago. But I'm just saying, everything.
Them dollar margaritas.
That's pre-mix.
But I say that to say this: everything that you do, especially when you're doing dumb stuff, can be tracked down. You can be easily found and easily exposed for being a racist and a loser.
Exactly.
You know?
My mama always told me, don't write nothing you don't want nobody to say.
See, you know what I mean? And it's that simple. I mean, you look
especially
at
on the
it.
internet.
You have to use an email address to set up that account, right?
Right.
Come on, man.
Yep.
It's easy to track back.
And the thing is, hackers can easily get your IP address and then ping you and figure out where you at.
Where you at? Yeah, that's simple.
Those are nerds, ladies and gentlemen, that can do
Get you a
that.
nerd.
Get you a nerd.
I'm trying to tell you.
So,
Trying to get your credit right, fucking with a nerd.
That can help you do something.
shit, I need to find me a nerd. I need to find me a nerd. I told y'all my credit score like a GPA. So,
Especially, when those hackers hacked into...
Can they hack Salome?
Equifax, or was it TransUnion?
Both.
I
they hit 'em
just
up.
was just praying, Lord God, if they can just wipe my
You know,
credit
if you
away,
just-
give me a blessing and make it clean.
That's right.
That's all I wanted.
Can they
Why
hack
did
Salome?
they do that? I mean, if
Right.
they could hack TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, I would hope they
I'm
could
sure they
hack
can hack
in.
the student loan
Anything can be
folk.
hacked into, right?
Yeah, well, pretty much anything.
Anything, right?
Pretty much anything.
Yeah. So, if y'all listening, you know what? I'm not gonna do that.
Y'all listen.
You can't be out
Because
here.
we was talking about the boosters last week. I'm
Right.
not no illegal activity on
Boosters and hackers.
the Kindy Sleepy Pod show.
I still need me a booster though, just so y'all know. But anyway,
If you
so
want to clean up my credit, I'm there.
next up, rest in peace, Deontay Yarber.
Facts.
He got killed in California, in Barstow, 2 hours outside of Atlanta. He was 26 years old. He was driving his cousin and friends to a local Walmart on April 5th. And somebody in the police department has alleged that he was wanted for questioning in a stolen vehicle case, and that he accelerated the car toward the officers when they tried to stop him in the parking lot of this local Walmart. The police officers... Okay, so the sheriff department said that they were responding to a call of a suspicious vehicle. They were attempting a traffic stop when the driver suddenly reversed the vehicle and hit a patrol car. And so the officers fired multiple rounds into this car full of people, some of whom were children. Well, I'm not going to say children. They were younger adults. I'll say that much. The officers are on paid administrative leave. Now, here's the thing. So he was driving his cousin's car, which was never reported stolen. And when she retrieved the car, she said, his aunt said, Alita Yarber, said it did not appear that the vehicle had rammed into police vehicles. Police also did not respond to inquiries about the claims that Deontay Yarber was a car theft suspect. So they're not responding to the claims that he was a car theft suspect. You empty all these rounds into a car full of people. You kill somebody who was also a father. A 23-year-old woman in the back she was hit in the backseat of the car, was arrested. I want to say the other person that got hit, another person that got hit was 23 years old. And I think somebody else was in the car that was 19. And so the one that got hit, she, is still suffering from I guess PTSD like symptoms and from trauma, and she can't really talk that much. And of course she's injured. She's been wounded. The lawyer for the family said that he was actually killed trying to shield the people in the back seat from the rounds that were being fired. So I'm gonna start there, and we're gonna keep going. I don't want to discuss this just yet. I want to talk about the rest of the stuff that we have here in addition to this. Okay. The next story happened in Macon, Georgia, where this old ass woman decided it would be a good idea for her and her geriatric ass son to put their hands on United States active duty Army service members because they were upset because they didn't stop and let them back into a parking space. You put your hands on people for that. And then when the police come to arrest you for assault or battery or whatever, or aggravated battery, whatever they decided to call it, your daughter lies and says she was defending herself from 6 black guys, even though there's obvious video of the incident. That's exactly what was said in the video as this old geriatric thug is crying and in handcuffs being led to the sheriff's car. So then we go from there to LA Fitness and Sea Caucus, where these two young black men go into LA Fitness, active memberships, all that, sign in with the manager. A couple minutes later, they're asked to, scan in. The dude come back and said, I did scan in, but okay, I'll scan again. And on the video, you see where the employee scans him again, sees his active membership, doesn't do anything. They call the police still and ask them to leave, and nobody could figure out why. The two black gentlemen who were being asked to leave couldn't understand why they were being asked to leave. The white police officers on the scene said, we don't really know why you're being asked to leave. And the manager of this LA Fitness canceled their memberships right there on the spot and told them, they had to go.
What LA Fitness is this?
This is in Secaucus, New Jersey. So you got that. And then after that, you got Starbucks. Starbucks in Philly, and then there was another Starbucks. Let me try to find where that other Starbucks is. But the Starbucks in Philly, two young black men were sitting in there. They were real estate guys. I don't know if they were agents, realtors, or whatever their role was in terms of real estate, but I know that they do actively engage in, real estate stuff. Whether it's on the stock market. I don't know how the real estate game works, but they are actively involved in real estate. And they had not purchased anything yet as they were waiting on one of their colleagues. And they went to use the bathroom, and they were asked to leave, and they were like, no, we're waiting on a friend. And so then the manager goes and calls the police. And so the police, in their infinite wisdom, decide to arrest these two young men and detain them. And, they got released like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then I noticed on Monday, Sean King posts another video of a different Starbucks, not the same Starbucks in Philly, but a different Starbucks, where a young man named Brandon Ward was in line about to make a purchase, about to place his order, and asked to use the bathroom, and he was denied the code to the restroom. And there was a white man named Weston. He's only identified as Weston, who had not made a purchase whatsoever, and he was given the code to the restroom. And he only knew this because the guy came out of the bathroom and said, hey, did you buy something? And he was like, no.
Wow.
And so he goes and actually confronts these Starbucks folks about not giving him the code, but yet instead giving it to a white person. So before we get started on our main conversation, I want to say that I think Starbucks handled this situation quite well. The CEO said he was embarrassed. He wanted to meet the two young black men that were arrested and apologize to them publicly and personally. And they're shutting down all the Starbucks, 8,000 Starbucks, for them to actually have quote-unquote diversity and sensitivity training. Although I think diversity and sensitivity training doesn't necessarily always address the problem, it's a start at the same time. But my question is, and this is the question that I kind of want y'all to discuss and talk about and think about. What is it? Why is it that we go these places and we see these things and we get engaged in these things and we deal with these things and we still patronize all these places where our money is welcome but our presence is not? I don't understand it. Now I'm not here, and our white friends sometimes be like, well, there's got to be more to the story. No, I'm sorry, there's not. Black people have been saying for generations that we've been discriminated against and had to deal with prejudice and racism and all sorts of casual spaces. I mean, even 50 years ago during the sit-ins and the lunch counters at Woolworths and things of that nature. And some of the sit-ins were started right there in North Carolina A&T by some young college students from A&T.
Aggie pride.
And, you think about it, it's like we've been dealing with this for generations now. Mm-hmm. My mom went to elementary school with one of the 4 little girls who was blown up at 16th Street Baptist Church. They remember those sit-ins. My grandmother faced all sorts of racism. In my short amount of time on this earth, I've faced racism. So I don't understand why it is that we continue to patronize places where our dollars are more than welcome, because we have billions and billions of dollars to spend in the consumer space every single year. But our presence is obviously not.
I think with some African Americans may not identify to that because they may not have experienced it. I'm just thinking back as you're talking with the Lil Wayne situation, how he spoke out and said he has never experienced, any racism in his life, and and that could be attributing to the fact.
Yeah,
that
but Wayne smoked himself retarded. Like I'm
He
saying.
did, but I'm just saying,
That's serious.
you know, there's some that may not have experienced it. Now I have, but definitely he did definitely notice it because it's in the forefront. It's in the media. You can't hide from it. So he definitely knows it's going on. But he also spoke that he has not identified with it. Now, I think everyone here on this podcast right now has identified with racism in some form or fashion, whether it was you were a patron at a store or whether it was in the workplace. We've all have identified it here on this platform, but, you know, and I thought maybe, you know, and maybe it was ignorant of me to even think that all black people may have experienced racism at one point in their life. But for Lil Wayne to say that, I was like, really, bruh?
So there are some black people who think that they can buy their way out of the black experience.
Right.
And before we continue, I just want to show y'all something that just showed up actually on my phone. The Starbucks manager who called the cops on those men. This just popped up on my phone just now as you were talking.
Okay.
It said there's a former coworker of hers, a former subordinate of hers, that said that she was demoted by this same white manager because she was because of her race, because she was black, and that this manager often targeted non-whites for removal from the store. Her name is Aisha Cash. She was a Starbucks shift supervisor at that Philadelphia Starbucks until last month. She worked under the store manager last year, but claimed she was demoted and had her pay cut by that manager. She says the boss that this manager was uncomfortable around black people and targeted them for removal from the store. And yeah, the lady, the former manager, has not responded to anything, of course. But I'm gonna show y'all. This is Aisha Cash. This is the 41-year-old woman who claims she was demoted. She's obviously an African American woman.
You know what, Knowledge? Now, as we're talking about this, I want to advocate, fuck trying to give drug tests, give psychological tests to these people when you hire them. You know, because you have these individuals that are put in these positions as managers or as leaders that can drive your career or not. And for this young lady, you know, to go through that is unfortunate. And again, like I said, we've all, and it's very common. It's very common, Nola B. It's very common, you know, even it's very present in this day in 2018. So, you know, black people, we need to wake up. We need to not settle for less and speak up for what we deserve and what we know we are worthy of.
And let's go ahead and start supporting black businesses. Why do we have to wait for them to come out? They've already been racist. Like, I'm so shocked that people are like, oh, you know, who was the last person that we just boycotted, H&M? You know, these people have been, you go in the Gucci store, they're flagging us, but you're still buying Gucci. So if we're going to boycott, let's really boycott.
And my thing is, you know, I think that we like to boycott certain things. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think we can actually boycott a Starbucks. I don't think we can boycott an H&M. I don't think we can boycott. I know everybody's favorite Target is Jordan. We can't boycott a Jordan. You know what we can boycott, though? You want to know why the Montgomery bus boycott was so effective? It's because we had alternative ways of doing things, and a large percentage of us used the bus in Montgomery. And so we have to identify something that a large number of us specifically utilize and use, and do two things: find a workaround and actually have a dedicated boycott for it.
No, and my thing though on Knowledge with that whole situation, man, you know, and I usually don't get somber a lot, but when it comes down to business, you know what I mean. And my thing is this right here: what we have to do, what we have to identify with is our buying power. Number one, once we become knowledgeable about our buying power, and we realize that we can take it anywhere else we want to go, we will. I mean, and everything else as far as Starbucks, Gucci, this, Gucci, that, or whatever labels, it's labels. Right. And that's what we identify with most. Mm-hmm. We identify with those labels. We identify with these people who do not want our presence there, but we can go here and we can spend our money and we feel accepted. And we feel accepted, and that's what it boils down to. Cause like you can see you can meet an individual who he might have on dirty jeans, dirty shirt, But you have another individual right here who work uptown. He has a mindset that he's better than this individual. You feel what I'm saying? Due to the simple fact that he's been accepted into this whole quote unquote status quo. And once we get over all of that other, all that other bullshit and realize that, okay, look, it's other people who make coffee. It's other people who make coffee. It's other people who have restaurants. It's other people who have clothing lines. It's other people who do this and who do that. But once we stop identifying with what we look at as success and making it, once we stop identifying with that and we identify with ourselves and know our buying power, last year alone, it was $16 billion that came out of black communities. $16 billion.
Now, how much of that went back into
Right.
Look, that was my very next point. Yep. How much goes back into that black community? And these are individuals who don't even want our business. Look at Michael Kors. Look at Michael Kors. Michael Kors said he didn't want our business because, number one, once African Americans get a hold of it, he said it becomes watered down. You feel what I'm saying? So, but we'll still go ahead and buy this Michael Kors bag, buy this Michael Kors watch, and do this and do this and do that because we feel like that's a symbol of making it.
Yeah.
Right.
But once we realize that we are the people who make them,
Come on.
we realize we the people who make them, and then we sit back on our motherfucking hands and heels and wait for them to cater to us. Because they are not offering a service to us. They're offering a product, they're shoving it down our throat, and they're saying if you don't have this, you ain't shit. And we've let that be embedded in our mind and said, okay, well look, if I don't have this, I ain't hitting no shit.
Let's take that point right there. What we've done, we've taken the same views of us that they have and internalized them. Black people have so much internalized anti-blackness, and what you were saying about the man who like, think about it, man. If I put on my work clothes, if I put on a suit, and you put on whatever you want to put on,
just a pair of Dickies and a pair of Timbs with the Gumby lean on the back,
and so somebody might look at me as better than you, or if I'm arrogant, I might look at me as better than you. But the thing is, at the same time, I can't separate myself from you because at the end of the day, we're both looked at as nothing.
Exactly.
And in reality, our graves are going to be the same size regardless anyway. But the thing is, that internalized anti-blackness that we have sometimes causes us to say things, do things, believe things, and look at things in such a way that we end up even sounding almost exactly like white supremacists.
Yeah, you sound like the oppressor.
That's exactly who we sound like. And so it's so strange to me. Like, my biggest gripe and the thing I hate the absolute most, I told y'all I'm really, really big on customer service. I'm really, really big on professionalism. I cannot stand when black people bash black-owned businesses. They be like, see, you get a black-owned business, they don't want to be open, and then they treat you bad, and they don't want to hook you up. But then you say all this about black folks, and then you go right down the street to somewhere where they first of all won't look you in the face, they won't put your money in your hand, they're not going to give you a discount either, and you might have to order through a 7-inch plate of glass.
And I've had that conversation with a lot of people with me being a black-owned business, because you look at it, and I made this correlation before. You can go to McDonald's, and the ice cream machine is never up. You always get rude treatment at the window, at the drive-thru. You get attitude at the drive-thru window. You get to the window, you pay your money, you get your food cold, your fries cold, your order wrong. Everything is fucked up, but you would steadily drive off, go home, probably stomach that meal, and go back another day. Go back another day. You will go back again, probably 2 times that week, 3 times that week. But you can have a black-owned business who, number one, doesn't have the money incorporated in itself. And the resources and the money incorporated in itself. So therefore, their hours can't be as long as the next person's hours because they still got to worry about utilities. They got and everything else. They still got to worry about employees. So that's why they might not be open until 4 o'clock to 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock to 2 o'clock on weekends or whatever it may be. But soon as they had one bad instance, she didn't bring me my water in time. She didn't come back and refill our drinks.
Everything goes out the window.
Everything goes out the window. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine. They was talking about this Chinese restaurant where it was like a few months ago, they had got like a C. The rating was a C. I'm sorry. C stands for
cats. In that case, cats.
Salmonella. I don't know.
Can't eat salmonella.
Yeah.
Can't eat.
Yeah. But then like about
E. coli.
But look, about 2 weeks later, I seen people was like, I I don't care. That food good as hell. I'm going to get me some shrimp fried rice today. So you mean to tell me you willing to go to a restaurant that could damn near poison you? They can damn near kill you. But you have a black business that doesn't refill your water fast enough. Now you don't support black business. But you rather go eat cat, dog, and everything else that ain't even cooked right. I mean, I had this conversation, and that's my thing. And I don't ask, like with me, I'm going to speak personally. I don't ask for no leeway with none of my clients because, number one, I give them no leeway. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, they know what I require. If they can't do that, guess what? I do not run a convenience service. I tell them that all the time. I don't run a convenience service. If you can't do what need to be done, guess what? We don't have any business together. And that's what I feel like most black businesses need to do, streamline business. Then you can streamline customers. Because once you streamline customers, you have people who actually appreciate the service that you give. Right. And that's a big thing with me. But not to get on a tangent, but to go back, once we identify with our dollars versus identifying with a brand or identifying with a certain store or a certain name, that's the only way we can overcome that. Because me personally, like we was talking earlier, man, I very seldom go to, these popular brands. You know what I mean? Right. I very seldom wear popular brands. Certain brands, shit, I'm a short nigga. Hey, they fit me better. Right. But but other than like directly going for those, I don't care. Right. You know what I mean? Like I said, I walk around like an old PE teacher. You know what I mean? Walking around in my $10 Family Dollar workout pants and my T-shirt. I'm cool.
So I want to take the point that was made, that you made earlier, and I was trying to steer back to it about us internalizing certain viewpoints and certain thought processes. And I looked at both the I looked at the Starbucks situation. I looked at what happened with Gangsta Granny in Macon, Georgia, and those two black service members. And I saw people applauding them for being so cool and so level-headed in the face of such injustice.
That's what they...
And my thing is, all right, cool, whatever. That's how you choose to handle it. If they had lost their rabbit-ass minds...
Oh, they've been animals. They've been all
We would have criticized them worse than other folks would have.
Well, I wouldn't say we. I don't think the people sitting at this round table at the Kind of Sleepy podcast would have.
I don't think so
But
either.
As a collective unit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People say they could have handled it different because, number one, you have people out here who have been raised with that docile mind.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Conditioned.
They've been whipped with that slave, so that whip so bad that they love being in that slave lane.
Yeah, they've assimilated.
Right.
And me personally,
Absolutely.
like I tell anybody, like what your mama used to always tell you: somebody hit you, hit them back. Right?
Yeah.
Your mama ain't say if somebody hit you, hit them back unless they white.
Here's my thing.
Shit.
Had I seen...
Sorry.
Had I seen...
Not sorry.
Had I seen... especially that larger guy...
Yeah, her son.
Put his hands on either one of y'all.
Yo, if I'd have been that building...
I'd have went to jail. And I'm going to tell you why.
Me both.
I'm going to tell you why.
We both went to jail.
I'm going to tell you like this.
Yeah,
I watched those young, intelligent black men stand up peacefully and go to jail.
Yo.
But then I also watched the guy we talked about in California, in Barstow, be murdered
for being peaceful.
He didn't get a chance to be peaceful.
Right.
He didn't get a chance to be
Just
peaceful.
being a suspect.
And so my thing is, once again, like we said last week, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So live your life.
Yeah.
Any response that you have to racism is the proper response in my book. Whether you choose to be peaceful, whether you choose to be aggressive, whether you choose to do other things.
Right.
Yeah. I'm going to say I usually don't tell people to react to stuff with violence, but racism is one of those things. Racism and prejudice is one of those things that,
it's bred from violence.
It's time to stop this bullshit, man.
Right.
I'm tired. Like, I've read a story today, and I posted on my Facebook, and I said, man, this is just Wednesday, and I am exhausted. Yeah. Like, thinking about this stuff, reading about this stuff, and coming on here and talking with you guys about it, while it's helpful and while I enjoy it, it is exhausting. Because have you realized that every single week that we do this show is something else? Mm-hmm. And we are like, black folks should be tired by now.
Like I say, man,
but we resilient.
are resilient, but
We shouldn't have to be. That's
yeah.
just it.
I mean,
Pull
how
me
can
the wrong
a race of people think that they're superior? We didn't choose our race. You literally were born this way. You didn't do anything, but they have the complexion for the protection. And it's time that we come together.
I'm
and stop
exhausted.
it. Yeah,
Y'all
I'm
ain't tired.
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
beyond tired.
I'm tired of having to overwork.
I'm one of them.
That same race.
Right.
You
I'm
know?
one of them old folk words. I'm
tired.
weary.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, it goes back, man. Like anybody that know me, they know I frequent the same spots, and any spot that I go to, whether it be recreation or whatever it may be, I want to know who run it. You know what I mean? So that way, I don't have anything with Anglo-Saxons, Caucasians, none of that. But I want to know who run it. I want to know what his mindset is on my dollar being spent here. I want to know. I don't go anywhere that has a dress code because number one, dress codes are basically separating people from separating us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but my thing is this, right? I don't go anywhere with a dress code. You're not finna go ahead and isolate me because of what I feel comfortable in.
Right.
You're not finna do that. And, you know, and once we, like I said, once we begin to understand that at the end of the day, we don't have to go to these places. We don't have to boycott.
Right.
Fuck them.
Life is too short to live in a bubble.
Yo, come on, man.
So life is too short to live in a box of respectability, and especially trying to earn the respect of people who aren't going to respect us. And I'm not doing that.
It's
ever.
it's a dead issue, man. I ain't gonna lie, you got me worked up on this shit. My back sweating. For real, man. You know what I mean? You know, it's just certain, it's certain topics, man, that hit home with me, you know, and I don't really say too much. I usually add my comic relief, but you know, and I tell all my people all the time, at the end of the day, you got to know what you want to do.
Right.
Because anytime you come with me, I already know what I want to do. I already know what I want. You got to know what you want to do. And, you know, and if a situation comes by, you already know what I'm going to do because I already told you. I'm not going to be a pacifist on a situation because racism was bred through hate. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to take a situation that was bred through hate and take a peaceful mind. I mean, because, you know, hatred and love can't live in the same motherfucking dwelling. So therefore, you already know how I'm going to handle this situation, but it's going to be steps to it. But at the end of the day, if you're not about that, you don't need to roll with me.
Right.
You don't need to roll with me. And, you know, and it's just...
I tell people all the time, look, you know, before, and we're going to wrap it up after this, but before Martin passed, he said, I fear that I've integrated my people into a burning house.
Come on, man.
My ass is on fire and I'm tired.
I'm tired, man. You know,
I'm exhausted. Like, I really am weary, man. I'm really tired. But
I mean, he had Martin was trying to get us to be equal and be on the same playing field, and that's all we really wanted, you know, just to be on the same playing field.
I say, honestly, and we're going to have a whole show about this.
We will, because I want to get back on the black-owned businesses to Nola B's point.
Mm-hmm. I'm about to say something. Integration, and I've said it on the show before, integration was the worst thing that happened.
Worst thing that ever happened.
You know what, and I'm going to agree with you. We should have stayed segregated.
Integration was the worst thing that happened to the black community outside of crack.
I agree with you.
I think we should do like the Native Americans and get our own sovereignty and just chillax.
Right. I concur.
She ain't using college words like
Go ahead, girl. That's Nola B, boo.
Yeah, that shit got a silent G in it, don't it?
Okay.
Hey, you know I know the spell, nigga.
No, wait, I didn't say I could spell it. I'm just kidding.
Oh, shit. But one thing, man, I wanted to add, man, you know, going back to the black businesses. As black patrons, we need to demand more. If you see, okay, well, look, it's a situation to where your service wasn't up to par, instead of going and blasting and say, oh, that's why I don't support black business, blah, blah, blah. Go to the owner.
You know what I do?
What's that?
I'll tell them what they did wrong, and I keep going back until they get it right.
Till they get it right. Because at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We'll take this ass whooping from a corporation that's not even owned by us. We'll take it daily and we'll take it quietly. Mm-hmm. But we need to demand more from our black businesses so that way they know how to streamline it.
So they know the standard.
They know the standard. They know how to streamline it. They know how to get it right for us. And that's what I say instead of automatically backing out.
That's right. I like that.
Instead of automatically backing out.
At the same time, if you out here scamming people, I'm whooping your ass. I'm just letting you know that now. You know, because there's some scammers out here. We need to start whooping their ass in our community. I think you know what? Make ass whoopings great again. Let's you know what?
Bring those back.
You know what? That's
they ain't went nowhere.
Manga.
They're gone.
We gonna start making hats and shirts that say manga. Make ass whoopings great again.
Make ass whoopings great again. Bring it back.
Yeah.
They ain't went nowhere.
Anyway. Well, that's going to do it for us at the KNWLDG podcast. Before we leave, though, we like to go around the table and say something. We're going to start over here with K. Dion. Tell me what you got to say.
Oh, it's K. Dion, baby. You know, stay positive.
Do.
Oh, that's my stripper music. Oh my God.
I'm your nasty dancer.
Dancer
for money.
And I'm trying to give a positive
She get a-
message
she
over
get a
here to
her
the
final thoughts
kids and
in.
to the world, to our
You ain't see
listeners.
Nola B over in the corner. She about to go
Beautiful
twerk in the
black
mirror over
people
there.
out here in the
Finish out with the girl
world, my
six.
beautiful white people, my beautiful everybody of the world. I'm just trying to give a positive message, and they got my stripper music in the background. They say I go out on Thursdays, really,
Now, actually, in Charlotte, it's Friday. You can wife for Fridays.
Fridays.
Yeah.
They done switched up my day. But so anyways, yes, this is Dion, baby, on the mic. Listen more. There's more content coming to you from Nola B and Dion.
Hey. Nola B.
Well, this is Nola B, spreading love, positivity, and cheer.
Ooh.
Black girl magic.
That's right.
Well, y'all already know what this is, man. My thing is this right here. I'm going to leave y'all with this note right here. And like I always say, and I say it again, know you. Know you. It doesn't come down to where you go. It doesn't come down to what you wear. It doesn't come down to what you drive. It doesn't come down to who you know. It's about knowing you, because at the end of the day, you got one place that you're going to go. It's either heaven, hell, or it's either heaven or hell.
That's right.
That's the only place you got to go. So once you know you and live your best life and do what you need to do to make sure you're complete, everything else around you will come in a whole 360. And
180.
360. Got to go back around again.
No, it don't.
Shit, nigga, it's like
That
a
mean
Michael
you ain't
Jackson.
on the
It's like a Michael Jackson spin.
That mean you went right where you started.
No, nigga, you gotta hit a 360. You gotta make a full turnaround.
No, but you got to turn around. You got to turn the opposite direction.
Nigga, you just cut a corner. You gotta do a 360. You gotta make
You ain't
a
got to do
full
no 360.
turnaround.
You ain't got to.
Cause when you make
right
the one,
back where you started.
it's like, look, you seen Superman. He did a 360, then he was Superman. He was Clark Kent. He did a 360, then he was Superman.
They just tell them turn
You gotta
Superman.
see
We're going to
that,
throw a flag on the Playboys.
Yes, you gotta see
Y'all gotta
Fuck.
They're so animated here, y'all. They're very animated, and I'm just sitting back enjoying watching it. Aren't you, Nola?
Oh, I am.
I'm sorry. Finish your point. I got
Yeah,
lost.
I'm
Oh
off
yeah,
his G.
and for anybody, any chess players out here, like I always say, man, Wednesday nights. I love I call it Get It Off Your Chest Wednesdays, man. Meet me at Stash House for older brothers who want to have a meeting other minds. Go ahead and put it on the chessboard. Drinks flowing. You know what I mean? Hookah flowing, and I got plenty ass whippings for y'all boys on this chess table. And your boy Natty out.
And that's going to do it for us here. What I got to say, make ass whoopings great again. That's exactly what we do. That's exactly what we're going to do. Make ass whoopings great again. And also, make racists afraid again.
Yeah.
Right.
See, they brave now.
Because I'm going to tell you, the situation that happened in Macon, and, that's how I know God loves me. Because had that been me, man, I'd have been a headline.
I'm telling you.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
with that being said, man, we'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Malcolm.
You ain't
Malcolm. That's what